Oh, really? That's going to make noise? That intro music gets me every time.
It
Still
does
to
it.
this
Getting us
day.
pumped up. Is it a year
Yeah.
later? 6 months later. I
Something
don't know.
like
We've had
that.
it for a while, but it's really good.
We
So
have.
Sarah, I'm coming to
Good
you
morning.
live from my home today, not from the
Ooh.
studio. Got my
Ooh.
daughter home sick in the other room, so she's being a champ. And we're team players. The show must go on. For all the listeners and viewers, we make it happen no matter what.
Yeah, we definitely make it happen. Well, and it goes to show you guys that we always have lots going on. I mean, for me, I'm in a different country every week, so it seems, or different city or a different hotel room. But this is what we got to do. I like this look, by the way, from your place. It's a good
We
view.
got the Miami background, right
Mhm.
here in the downtown Miami, right on the water. Nice place.
Ex-
And you're going to be here next weekend, right? Or is that this
Yes.
week coming?
Yes. Wait, by the way, before we even continue, I do have to make sure for everybody that is joining, you need to wish Steve a very happy birthday because it was his birthday yesterday.
It was birthday yesterday. Crazy day. So I'm going to celebrate this weekend. So I think we just make it a joint party at some point. That's what we're going to do.
We're doing dinner on Saturday. I still have yet to tell you where and when, but I'll tell you offline. No, let me tell you now. Everybody come join us on Saturday. No, we should. I mean, we'll have a little bit of a joint celebration because I just still think it's so funny that we're exactly a week apart.
Sarah's birthday 1 week later. It's so much fun. That's why good action over here. But we do have a lot coming up. I'm going to High Tech. You're going to be there as well.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
What are you doing at High Tech? That I'll also
what
is happening that we should tell
yeah, so we'll talk about that. So High Tech, for the first time this year, there is a new program that's being launched that's called the Hospitality Creators Summit, which you're at, sir.
I'll be in and out most of the day.
Yeah. And on the 15th on Monday. And basically it's kind of a one-day summit for all hospitality creators and also brands that work with creators more in the B2B space when it comes to that. And kind of whether it's talking about best practices, insider tips, hearing from the brands and how they want to work with creators, how you can elevate your brand if you are creating a personal brand and you're starting out. So it's going to be a really wonderful discussion. I've seen the programming. I'm part of the programming, goodness sakes, but it'll be a really great day. So I'm excited because that's actually the main reason why I'm coming in. I'll be around on Tuesday. So if you guys are at High Tech on Tuesday, come see me. Get it while it's hot because otherwise she out.
Yeah, I'll be there till Thursday. Oh, always exciting. I'll be there till Thursday.
Yeah. No, you're going to be there for a whole time. But also, I think before we dive into today, it would be remiss of us to not talk about what is going on actually right now in New York. So it's a big day, big week in New York. I'm having major FOMO, but that's okay. There's been the NYU Investors Conference, which really, I actually was reading up on some of the notes about that, but I mean, kind of what we covered in our show, maybe I think it was 2 weeks ago, very much this sort of K, the economy is in the letter K. I'd like to buy a vowel to counteract our K that we got. It's an interesting time for the industry. So I highly recommend for anybody that is interested, check out the notes on what's going on with the NYU Investment Conference. And then also today, Skift has its very own one-day data and AI summit that's happening.
Sold out. So they filled the room. Good job, everybody over at Skift.
That's going to be, I really wanted to be part of that discussion just because I've got my fingers in a couple of different AI companies, but alas, another time. So yeah, there's a lot. And then it's also New York Tech Week. So there's so much going on. Oh, I wish I was there.
Well, we got a lot going on in the world, but I think before we talk about what's happening in the world of hospitality, we've got a brand new sponsor for our show. We always love talking about new sponsors. And we've
Yes.
got, hey, this episode is brought to you by Cloudbeds. Cloudbeds unifies your operations, distribution, guest experience, and revenue marketing in one place. Powered by Signals, hospitality's first foundation AI model. So whether you're trying to drive more direct bookings, cut training time, or finally get your data working for you, Cloudbeds is built for what's next. Learn more at cloudbeds.com/GMH. That's cloudbeds.com/GMH. Look at that ad read. Man, we're getting good.
You do that. So I think you should just do them all. You're far more serious than I am. No, but you do great. You do a great job. Serious. No, but I think with that should we dive into our first topic here? Because everybody loves a good Las Vegas story. And we got a big Las Vegas story, 2 Las Vegas stories. My gosh. I actually, as I was flying back from Amsterdam last week, I got a text about Caesars. So for those that might not know, 2 billionaires have basically just moved in on the Las Vegas Strip. So Caesars agrees to a $5.7 billion takeover by Tilman Fertitta. Interesting with that buying it, he's also taking on an additional $11.9 billion of Caesars' existing debt. This is, what was fascinating is like how it's like the deal value Caesars at $31 a share, which is about 49% above where it was before the takeover rumors started.
No, it's wild to see how much he's paying. Really, it's $5.9 billion, but you're taking on $11.9 billion in debt that they have on the books, which is a gigantic number to take on. But Tilman, if you know, he's got his restaurant empire. He's got hotels. He owns, I think it's the Houston Rockets that he owns. Yes. So he knows how to make money. He had a little TV show, I remember at one point, where he was kind of like The Apprentice and the other shows where he helps like companies come in and figure out if he's going to buy them and plug them into his system. So one thing I did learn from that show was just the power of having so much buying power. Yeah. Right? So you can make deals and save on things. So I'm sure he's thinking about that in this way of how do we plug in my restaurants to the hotels? How am I going to make savings across every product point in a hotel, in the casinos? How are you going to drive more revenue in there to really drive business? Especially because right now, we talked about it a couple of times where Las Vegas has been struggling with the new demand from some of the younger travelers that aren't gambling as much or smoking or drinking. So all the vices are that Vegas might be known for, plus many others, aren't being used, but they're there for shows and going to see the Sphere and seeing sporting events and all these other things. So it's interesting to see how Vegas starts to transform.
What's fascinating with that is some may not be as aware, but actually he's cousins with the other Fertitta brothers who own the Station casinos. So basically those are the ones that are off the Strip. So you've got Red Rock Casino, Durango. So that's a fascinating dynamic. Also, he's the largest stakeholder in Wynn Resorts, which kind of adds like a whole other layer to all of this. So, a lot
of people don't realize how big Caesars Palace is. It's not just standalone hotel. They have 45,600 hotel rooms across 52 properties. So
52.
Major. 45,600 hotel rooms is wild.
He's also not the only one. So Barry Diller's People Inc., which by the way, I was just there in New York filming something with them. So this is close to home. They're preparing an $18 billion bid to take full control of MGM. And they could for reference, MGM controls about 40% of the Las Vegas Strip's hotel rooms. Diller already owns 26.1% of MGM. And then 2 board seats. So if these close, so it's could be likely, but if it closes, it's going to be fascinating because this is going to be 2 billionaires that really control
the majority of the Strip.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's interesting. I like what Barry Diller was saying of why he's kind of doing this is, he's been an online person for a long time. He made a giant amount of money with Expedia. He bought it, I think, in 2001 and then sold it a couple of years later for several billions. But now with AI and how fast everything's changing, he's like, I'm going to double down on the real world and on real estate and travel, and he's betting big on this, right? He says this is like the hedge against what's happening in the digital world is let's bet on world-class hotels and entertainment and people who are going to be showing up and doing things in the real world versus the digital world. So that was something interesting that I thought about, because we talk about that a lot now of the unique experiences and companies creating those, and more and more hotels getting into different kind of spaces that are unique that people can enjoy. So it was I like that kind of thinking now, and seeing how he's getting away from digital, going into the physical world with his business.
Oh, definitely. And I think we're going to continue to see more of that. I mean, right now we're in the middle of an evolution. We don't totally know where things are landing, but obviously with the state of the economy, how it's impacting things, like to me, without even knowing all the details, it makes sense, because it's kind of, they're betting when numbers are down, so to speak. And at the end of the day, I mean, things will come back up. There are certain places, locations, destinations that will continuously stay relevant. How they evolve might be a surprise to us, but it's like kind of like we're seeing this with a lot of the big cities, so it's not a big surprise that, Las Vegas has been down, Los Angeles has been down, every other storefront is closed. I mean, I've heard even Miami's kind of quiet too, right?
Yes, and it's evolving, right? I think because like Miami Beach wants to become the next blue zone, right? They want to be known as the health and wellness center of the world in the United States. And so they're trying to evolve from party city, nightclubs, craziness into that. And I think there's a balance of all that. And I think Vegas will find that as well, that balance, where I see more and more people going for the concerts and more things like, I think, the Sphere and F1 and more sporting teams in Vegas now. So I think that's where you're going to start to see things evolve into. It's like you can still have a good time, but then there's other things going on versus gambling, smoking, drinking, shows.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you on that. So it'll be cool to see. And again, as you even mentioned, the return to the human side and the gatherings and the experiences. So less on our phones.
Well, I'm cheering you guys on, Vegas.
Yeah. Well, should we go into our next sponsor before we continue? Perfect. Yes. I'll take this one.
You got this.
Sure. All right. So before we move on to other topics today, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, Bilt. This episode is brought to you by Bilt. They are helping restaurants and hotel F&B teams better understand their guests and create more personalized experiences that drive repeat visits. So if you care about loyalty and guest experiences, it is worth checking out. So head to joinbilt.com/GMH. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Bilt.
Very good.
Yeah. So kind of moving on from the topic of Vegas, this is kind of interesting. Our next topic here, hotels won the direct bookings economics, and but they just lost the headlines. So this was the direct bookings tug of war, as you can see. Do you want to kind of like lead into this?
Yeah, I was reading the article. Basically, this is a great article on Skift. So if you have the chance, go and read this one.
Read it.
Because what they've got going on here is they're talking about the history of kind of OTAs that's popped up and how they started taking market share away, and really how hard hotels have been pushing, spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to educate the public, saying like, Hilton, stop clicking everywhere, book direct with us. They wrap it on their keys, on the elevators. Every time they walk in, they're trying to get people on an app. If you haven't been on an app, same thing with Marriott and Hyatt and all the big boys now. They want you in their world and their system, so you're booking direct. Why is that? Because OTAs charge big fees to make sure that's how they run their business. They're sending you, they get their commission, and it takes a big chunk out of the bottom line for hotels. So they'd rather have guests coming in and doing that. And this article really explains kind of the nitty gritty of how hotel groups, especially the big ones, had to negotiate with the Bookings and Expedias of the world to get their rates down, and then why people should be booking direct. But it's still hard for people to understand. They're saying like it's still inching up, like it's still going up. I think the number was now 12% of the major hotels are getting still OTAs, where it was 10% 10 years ago. So even with all the education and all the spending, it's still happening.
20% to 21%.
Yeah.
Or is like in the last year. I think that's in the last like few years. Sorry, since like 2020, 2019.
So it continues to grow. And so, I was wondering, more of a conversation here. You and I have both worked in hotels. Most people watching here are working in hotels or have in some way. So why do you think people still use OTAs versus, booking directly with hotels?
I know completely, because it's always said to me. I mean, because they the two main things. One, they firmly believe that they are going to find a better rate. They just believe it is going to be cheaper, and that's why they do that. So and then the second thing are the bundle packages. Some of those bundle packages can be very attractive with flights. And again, we're talking about people who maybe they're only doing a trip once a year or twice a year. The loyalty game doesn't resonate as much with them because it's not like they're traveling all the time. I mean, I wasn't even big on the loyalty game until I started taking 100 flights a year. And then as I was growing into that, I started caring. And even hotels. I mean, I need to do numbers as far as like how many nights a year I'm in a hotel, but I mean, it's probably close to 200. And so I care if it's for, like for business travel, obviously, like if it's for other reasons, not so much. But yeah, I mean, so for people that are not frequent travelers, which is most individuals, they are going to care about bottom line price over loyalty. That is just what it is. So
I guess for me, it's like, all right, I'll check out what's going on online, then try to book direct. And most of the time, the rate is lower online. There are those random times where some wholesalers have bought the room and the rooms are cheaper because they're trying to offload. But then I also realized when I worked in the hotels was if you book directly, I could hook you up more as a friend, right? But if you book through Expedia, I book a block through American Express, so I guess I use OTAs to use my points. But if you book that way, I couldn't give you as much on the back end because we were making less on that room. So I couldn't give you the upgrade to a suite or all the other fun things going on there. But Citizen M had some interesting stats. They just were acquired by Marriott not long ago. We had talked about that story. And they said that a third of their EBITDA growth came from lower OTA commissions that were contracted by Marriott, right? So that Marriott had a much lower fee than what Citizen M could get on their own. And so they saw a third of that growth on their bottom line come from lower commission fees. So it's just really interesting to see the power that this has here. And if you can get those lower fees, it's straight to the bottom line. This is how you make more money if you can convince people to book directly with you. So it's still an ongoing battle, it looks like. It will continue on, but now the new one is AI. So if you don't even have to search anywhere, you could just say, hey, I need 3 nights in Madrid for under $500. Whatever it serves up is the new potential front door to these hotels.
And so wait, to quickly go back to the Citizen M thing, keeping in mind who their general demographic is. So that is not a surprise to me because I mean, in general, people that are staying at Citizen M are going for something. I've stayed there, love it, value. By the way. Yeah, it's value. It's like, it just needs to be something simple. It's easy. So that to me is not as much of a surprise. Going back to the agentic AI, that's where, I mean, all eyes are. Not necessarily in our topic for today, but actually, if you listen to the Skift Daily Briefing, I do break it down. Expedia is really kind of looking at building out so that they can be like the resource to help the smaller hotels, because obviously, as you just mentioned with AI, and that is going to be the new platform where everybody is kind of finding and getting inspiration as far as where to stay. Well, if you're a big brand, basically boutique and independent hotels are going to have a real hard time competing with the big brands just because of visibility and how are they going to show up in this search. So Expedia is looking at building out more of that to hopefully level the playing field a little bit more, but we'll kind of see how that ends up playing out, and everybody is looking to see how that's going to be playing out.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of that I have a hospitality management company, and most of our properties are vacation rentals, short-term rentals. And so majority of it comes through Airbnb and Booking and Expedia because that's a different style place. And people trust all right, I'm going to book this home through Airbnb. And if something goes down, I can call Airbnb and they're going to help me figure it out with if there's a crazy homeowner out there. So there are benefits I can see as you're talking. I was like, I can see how people are using them to find things and search and feel like that protection in case something happens, like they got their back.
Definitely. So interesting times. I mean, again, it's the tug of war. The tug of war will always continue because you still have like several generations of individuals that have been groomed, so to speak, to just be like, oh, go OTA. OTA is the better deal, and, but I think where the difference will be is the volume. What we're basically comparing right now will be the volume of the infrequent travelers and how much they book compared to the volume of the regular travelers and which one moves the needle more.
I agree with you. Let's see what happens here. I think AI will have a big piece because I'm already using it to book travel all the time. So, they get smarter every day.
Quantity versus quality.
Yes, I agree. Let's see what happens. Let's see.
Definitely. All right, let's move on here to our next topic. Our friends over at Hilton, doing what they do and launching another brand. They've launched their 28th brand. It is Undergraduate by Hilton and designed specifically for college towns. This is kind of cool because, we know we've talked about the graduate hotels. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them. Maybe you've even stayed at a graduate property. So I like how to me, it's a smart, it's a natural.
I like it. It's nice.
It's it's a smart move. So basically, it's like they've got their awesome graduate hotels that are in a lot of the college towns that are kind of like,
they're saying like this is Undergraduate. It's cool. It's like, to go back on nostalgia and there's like the top tier college towns, right? Where they have graduate hotels and they are in that, $190 to $240 a night range, and they want now in the second tier college towns to have Undergraduate, and that will be in the $120 to $140 a night range. So there's things about 2 tiers below Graduate, and they're looking for about 130 room properties in the $10 million to $30 million range, not including the land. So it'll be a nice property. It'll be cool. It'll give you the kind of those touches that Graduate has, just not as in depth. Layered in everywhere, but another fun place to be able to stay in a town where a lot of these college towns they have a hotel, right? Or a hotel and a motel. It's not many things in some of these smaller college towns. And if you're going for football games or sporting events or graduations or whatever it might be, it's a fun place to stay. So I like this brand. I like how they've created it. It's a nice vibe.
Totally. And again, like as you even mentioned, even if they do have, a 1 or 2 hotel options, they might not necessarily be even that exciting. And so to have something that has a bit more personality that's still economically friendly, I think that's a really smart move. As far as investors go, what's going to be interesting is it's like, okay, they know when they're going to be busy. Obviously high times when there's games going on, you've got alumni coming in, parents are in town, those times. So, but then what happens kind of in the off season? This is going to be a very, it'll just be interesting to see just kind of how that plays out, just because of, it's not necessarily always going to be consistently full. Potentially, obviously it all depends on the market.
Yeah, I think it depends the market, how big the hotel is and what amenities they might have there. But if they can think about it the right way, they can get the college students there, they can get the teachers there, they can host things. So let's see how they tie themselves in. But I like what they're doing. I think it's unique and should hopefully fit really nicely.
And I'm noticing there's a big nostalgia trend that's been happening. We've seen it on social media. We're seeing it in places. We're seeing it in experiences. And obviously this totally ties into it. I mean, even the hotel that I stayed at, their rooftop bar had a very fun play on like a college theme of things. And so it's just very like we're living in some nostalgic times. Like people
are searching for that. They want to feel those good vibes that they felt in the yesteryear. So
yesteryear,
I think people really want that. And I think that's why you have all the people go to Disney and the theme parks and they just want to kind of disconnect and remember the fun things they associate those things with. So I like it. I'm all about that brand. I think it's fun.
Oh, I know. Very fun. Okay. Our last little topic here before we move on. Yeah. Funny. Well, not funny actually, because I've talked about this with a couple of different brands, but sargassum, it's tanking the Caribbean hotel occupancy. So sargassum, for those that don't know, it is hitting Caribbean beaches pretty hard this year. It's been growing a lot actually in recent years. I've actually had a couple of trips that have been canceled because like we're supposed to go and film, and they're like, we can't have you come film because we've got such a massive sargassum problem. But to give you an idea, along Mexico's Riviera Maya area, occupancy dropped from 73% in early May of last year to around 59% this year. So that's like a solid 14-ish.
Yeah, that's a giant number. That's a big number, especially across hotels. And listen, it's not a joke. It's real deal. City of Miami Beach has the issue too, but we have every single morning tractors going out and scraping the sand to make sure it's not there.
Yeah.
It's in the bay. Like my window looks out at the bay, and you can see it coming in giant patches. Like you see it coming through. But Mexico and the Gulf are getting hit really hard, and it's not helping that a lot of these videos are going viral, right? That show different areas of these resort towns with like piles and piles and piles. Of seaweed where you can't even get into the water, and that's what people want when they travel. So they may be looking different things. So it's tough, and plus it doesn't smell good either, right? So if you're not cleaning it up and you don't have a good plan, it really stinks because it does hold all different types of sea creatures and animals and waste.
You are correct.
It just
you are correct.
Definitely a big challenge. So yes.
On the flip side, if you are looking to travel in the next coming months and you don't care about getting in the ocean,
I was like, if you're a seaweed fan, this is the place to come. That's what I thought you were
I mean, look, hotels in Cancun, some of them, they're cutting, like prices are down like 40%. So if you're like, I just want to be in the pool, there is a very big discussion out there, whether you're like ocean versus pool. And most of the time, I'm more of a pool person than ocean. So
yeah, more of an ocean, but
that's because you've been spoiled by being in Miami. I was living in California, and it's like you never want to get in that ocean. It's cold. It's like a cold plunge every time you go in. So,
no, but it's interesting. But there are people getting creative. There's companies out there who are saying, "All right, we'll come pick up the seaweed." They're turning it into bricks that you can use in construction. They're trying to make it into all different kind of things. So, listen. It's real deal. I'll make sure to do the seaweed report today. I'm looking out here. It looks pretty clear for Miami today. So if you're in Miami, go in the bay, go in the ocean.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. The seaweed report. I can. Yeah, please do that, sir. I'm coming in, so I want to know what I'm getting into.
We're looking good today. We're looking good.
Okay, that's awesome. Perfect. Well, with that, should we get on to your favorite segment?
My favorite segment of the week, everybody. And I see Paul, man, you've been commenting. Sorry, we haven't got to your comments. We've been in the show here, but thank you to Paul and Faith and all the others who are commenting.
Yes.
We appreciate you watching. And we've got a lot of people. Lonnie Wolf, thank you for watching. But my favorite part of every week is Whose Brand Is It Anyway? Where we try to guess this sub-brand and who the parent brand is. So now for the show, let's see, what is the sub-brand that we're trying to guess today? What do we got? Emblems Collection.
Gosh,
a little bit for everyone to take a guess that's watching and listening. Emblems Collection. I've never seen that brand. Have you seen that brand, Sarah?
No.
Emblems Collection. I'm going to go with, I feel like this is definitely here's my guess. I'm going to say Hilton is my guess.
I'm going to say IHG.
IHG
what do you guys?
And Hilton.
Yeah.
Viewers and listeners, put your guesses in now. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Those were fast seconds, sir.
And now, who does it belong to? Do we have
the suspense? The suspense.
We may need to look it up ourselves. Who is Emblem Hotel Collection belong to?
Fine.
Do we know? We might have to keep this for next show.
Oh, do you know? I got it. It
is. Man, I always guess this one too. Accor.
Oh.
Accor Hotels. And we got Paul Manzi shouting that one out. He got it correct. Accor Hotels is Emblem Hotel Collection or Emblems Collection. And they got some really cool hotels. So make sure to check out Emblems when you have a chance. But it looks very, very cool for me. They got horses, they got landscape hotels, all different kind of landmark destinations over at Emblems. So again, Accor, nice job. I see we still have some homework to do here.
I mean, wow, what a show. Got it right, but
you got it right.
I don't know how much you searched for that, Paul.
Oh, we gave you a lot of time.
Oh, Lonnie got it right too. Oh my gosh, there might be a delay. Who knows?
Well, we had a great show here today, Sarah. And as we said, I'm here home with my daughter, who I got to take to the doctor. Right now, she's not feeling good, guys. So send her some positive vibes, but we didn't want to miss the show. Yep, me too. And as always, if you haven't yet, make sure to check out our 2 sponsors, Cloudbeds and Bilt, and make sure to subscribe. This is a great show. Make sure to share it with one of your friends. We love seeing all the new faces and names that watch live every single week. We appreciate you very much. So until next week. And be sure to
join us next week because, by the way, we're going to be live together.
That's right.
Join us.
We'll be live. We're going to figure out where to do it, but we'll make it happen. We'll be live. So until next week, everybody, stay hospitable.
Hospitable.
Bye.